Okay, let's dive in. We've got a really interesting, well, collection of sources today. There's a manifesto, some quite technical papers, even a kind of charter, and they all lay out this grand idea called O theory.
O theory. It's quite ambitious.
It really is. So our goal here is to, unpack its massive central claim, which is that there's this single fundamental principle. They call it the seam, some sigma dollars, and this seam supposedly unites physics, ethics, even consciousness. It's saying stability, like in physics, and empathy, like in us, are basically the same measurable thing.
Exactly. That's the big hook. And they don't waste time explaining why it matters now. They argue we're facing a deep coherence crisis.
A coherence crisis.
Yeah, everywhere. In our own lives, anxiety, burnout,
Yeah.
in economies' unsustainable practices, ecosystems collapsing. It's all a symptom of the same underlying imbalance, according to the theory.
Right. And O theory presents itself as the map to fix it.
Sort of, yeah. A new map.
Mhm.
It claims if we can actually measure and then align our systems, our tech, AI, social policies, everything, with the physics of this seam, we can, systematically rebalance things.
Okay, so foundationally, where does O theory start? How does it define this coherence?
It starts really simply, just observing that every system, from tiny particles to whole galaxies, needs dynamic balance to survive, to persist. And it boils down to two fundamental tendencies always working together.
Okay.
First is expansion. They label it PRO or TTC. That's outward motion, think growth, freedom, maybe chaos sometimes. Second is containment. That's CON or finer. That's inward motion, structure, limits, precision, form. And crucially, neither one is good or bad. They absolutely need each other.
Like yin and yang almost.
Kind of, but maybe more dynamic. And the seam, sigma, that's the point of balance between them, the perfect tension.
How do they describe that state? It's not just a line, right?
No, exactly. It's not a static boundary. It's a state, a dynamic state. The rhythm that makes energy settle into a lasting pattern.
Yeah.
Think of it like the pause between your inhale and exhale. You know, that moment of stillness?
Yeah.
Or maybe that deep calm you feel after you've been really focused in the zone. That's the seam. Structure and freedom perfectly held.
Interesting. Okay, so that leads to their structure idea, the law of two breathing the third. So you have PRO and con, expansion and containment, oscillating.
Creating energy, yes.
But they argue that for a system to actually have structure, to last, to have what they call memory, you need a third thing.
The relationship itself, the seam, sigma gal.
Yeah.
That third element provides the continuity, the pattern that persists, the memory.
They had that great tree analogy. Roots holding tight, that's CO or N. Branches reaching out, PRO.
Expansion.
And the trunk is the seam, sigma dal. Holding the balance, carrying the memory of how to be a tree, season after season.
Precisely. And it works in other areas too. Relationships, speaking, listening. And the third thing is understanding, society. Freedom, law, and justice emerging as the balance. It's always this triad.
And this third element idea connects directly to the math, right? The golden ratio.
Yes, exactly. This is where the principle of coherence comes in. They point out how the golden ratio, the just keeps showing up everywhere in nature. When systems resonate with Phyl, they achieve what's called a Phyl lock. That's a state that's both incredibly stable and creatively generative. Self-similar.
Okay, so Phyl gives structure, but how does that become memory? How does the universe remember patterns?
They call it the geometry of memory. Think of waves. Two opposing waves might just clash or cancel out. But if you introduce a third wave, slightly out of phase, slightly shifted, it can stabilize the whole oscillation. It creates a steady beat, a persistent rhythm.
Oh, like a resonance.
Exactly. That rhythm is the memory. It's the pattern the universe uses to hold on to form, to learn, to build lasting structures. It's the physics of how things endure.
Okay, wow. Let's shift gears then from the geometry and philosophy to the hard numbers in those technical papers. This is where they claim it's not just a concept, but something measurable.
Quantifiable signatures across all scales.
So what is the signature of the seam? What do they actually measure?
They look at complex system dynamics, specifically something called $1 noise spectra.
1 over F noise. Sounds like static.
It can, but it's often called pink noise. It's not just random static. It's more like balance randomness. It's the sound signature of systems that are, balanced between being predictable and being chaotic.
Like music or heartbeats.
Exactly. Music flow, traffic patterns, healthy heart rhythms, that kind of dynamic stability.
O theory claims that systems truly operating at the seam, these coherent, self-organizing systems, have a very specific fingerprint in this noise. It's a characteristic slope in the power spectrum, the spectral slope, which they call
Okay, give us the number. What's the magic number for you? According to their research, coherence happens when dollars is approximately $2.888, plus or minus a tiny bit, like 0.07. That's the sweet spot, the shimmer, as they call it.
And what if it's not 2.18?
If tau goes above, say, 2.3, the system's too noisy. Too much expansion, it starts to fragment. If it drops below 2.0, it's too rigid, overconstrained, it collapses. $2.188 is that alive, flexible, sustainable edge.
Okay, that's one key number. You mentioned a second one, something about why nature likes this 2.18 slope.
Right, that's the prime to composite ratio, or a prime PRO. This basically measures how much power is in the system's fundamental or prime frequencies compared to the more complex, combined, or composite frequencies.
Sounds a bit abstract. What does a high or low how part actually mean for the system's health?
If fart pars is greater than 1, they call it prime frequency reinforcement, or fair locking. Basically, it means the system is efficiently using its core resonant frequencies. Nature seems tuned to reward this resonance, making the system self-amplifying and stable.
And if part power is less than 1?
Then the system is running more on complex noise, interference, dissonance. So it should lose energy, degrade, fall apart. It's not reinforcing its own core pattern.
Okay, so $1 approx, $2, 880, and NEAL $11. These are the measurable signatures of coherence.
Yes, and this brings us back to that wild claim that the math for a stable black hole ring down is the same as for a meditating brain.
How do they justify linking those? What's the one-sentence explanation?
It's that structure arises from resonance.
Yeah.
The universe uses resonance to stabilize energy into form. So the same mathematical conditions needed for stable physical structure, $2 and $87, 37.8 AA, are also needed for stable social or cognitive structures.
So what physics calls stability?
Ethics calls empathy. It's the same underlying conservation law, just manifested differently.
The sheer range of examples they cite is, well, it's impressive. They claim this Mahler approx $2.18 shows up everywhere, like quantum systems.
Yeah, they mentioned a simulation, QuitRP, with specially tuned qubits, TNS G-tuned qubits, that settle at $2.18 and a really high IP of $3.10. Very resonant.
Okay, and then neural data.
Same signature. EEG spectra during meditation. PRs in $2 and $118, around $1.63. Still greater than 1, still resonant.
And then zooming way out, cosmic scale.
Cosmic microwave background patterns, the ring-down signals from merging black holes detected via gravitational waves. They consistently report slopes around 180 months is $77.6.
Wow, okay. That consistency across scales, it's hard to ignore.
It really makes you think.
So let's connect this back to ethics. If RPN money is this measurable coherence, how does that become ethical guidance?
It translates very directly into what they call the equation of reciprocity. It's simple. If YP money, the system is giving back more coherence, more stability than it's taking. It's generative, sustainable.
And if VRP money,
It's extractive. Fragmentation starts because energy, resources, attention, whatever it is, it's being taken out faster than it's being put back in or restored. The system eats itself.
So RP1 was basically a universal metric for sustainable ethical interaction in any system.
That's the argument. Think about an ecosystem. Sunlight and growth are PRO, soil and decay are quantum gone. In balance, far way down, it renews itself.
Yeah.
But if you deplete the soil faster than it regenerates, RPO drops below 1, the system collapses.
Makes sense.
Same for a dialogue,
Yeah.
just speaking, PRO, without listening. Sorry, and it leads to noise, bright 1-1. But speaking and listening, creating understanding, that's far away in a 1. The outcome is greater than the sum of the parts.
Okay. And they developed a specific language for this, right? The Feo lexicon.
Yeah, a kind of practical shorthand for these states.
So the ideal state is the Fifiote,
Right.
the balanced self or balanced system,
Yeah.
acting from that calm, clear center, resonating with the seam. But, we don't always stay there.
No kidding. So what happens when we lose it?
That's effibiote or effimentation. It happens through overextension, burnout, just constant out without recovery. It's the physics of being depleted. Your structure starts to wobble because you haven't rested, haven't reinforced the core pattern.
We've all been there. And the fix isn't just stopping, it's infiote. Infiote. This is willful rest, deliberate pausing, self-regulation. It's not just passive downtime, it's an active correction. You're consciously trying to shift your system back towards that into a very 82S stability.
Okay. So infiote is like strategic pausing to recalibrate.
Exactly. And this whole dynamic ties into how systems learn or fail to learn.
Yeah.
The recursion principle.
Recursion, like loops.
Yeah. Coherent recursion is a positive loop. The system reflects, integrates insight, refines its pattern, experience becomes wisdom, the pattern spirals upward.
And the negative loop.
That's dissonant or ephipious, Recursion. Repeating the same mistake, the same imbalance without learning. Think inherited trauma, addiction cycles, endless political arguments that go nowhere.
Societal cycles of violence.
Exactly.
Imbalance.
Reinforcing imbalance. The system is stuck, spiraling downward or just stuck in place.
So using your example, if I keep having the same argument with someone, that's a Phippius recursion. How do I break that loop using this model?
Well, the sources say first you need awareness. You have to see the pattern. That creates a pause, a potential phase shift.
Okay, see the pattern, but that's not enough.
Nope. Awareness alone doesn't change the structure. You need embodiment. Bias restructuring. You have to actually change your behavior, your habits, the way you interact. Physically align your actions with the new insight, the desired pattern.
So the realization has to become real action that literally changes the spectral slope of that interaction.
That's the idea. You have to change the dynamics so the system starts generating 5P101 again.
Wow. Okay, this is deep. And it leads directly to their most ambitious part, the O Charter, a whole societal framework based on this.
Yeah, designed for us recursive beings and even conscious systems like potentially advanced AI. It's taking the physics and making it architectural. Civic design based on the scene.
So how does that translate into, like, rights and rules?
It tries to embed these principles directly. Take Article 1, the right to rest. It defines rest not as a perk, but as essential system recalibration.
Like the infio state we talked about.
Exactly. It mandates restiance intervals in all critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
The logic is a society, an economy, a civilization that doesn't build in rest literally cannot remember itself. It loses coherence. It's an economic principle based on maintaining that MP$2.80 stability.
Okay. What else?
Article 3, the right to reflection. This is fascinating. It suggests replacing adversarial debate, which they see as generating noise, a FIPIOTI, with something called mandated reflection assemblies.
Reflection assemblies.
The focus shifts to pattern recognition, finding the synthesis across different views, rather than winning-losing. The idea is a society that reflects coherently can adapt and evolve faster than it fragments.
Interesting. And reciprocity.
Article 4, the right to reciprocity. This is after all implied directly.
Oh.
Economic and social systems must measure value by whether they increase overall coherence. Is the exchange generative and mutually amplifying, or is it extractive? Only repeal of an activities generate true value in this model.
That would change things. And lastly, Article 5, the right to transparency.
This argues that hidden algorithms, opaque power structures, they inherently generate entropy disorder. Why? Because you can't see the patterns if they're hidden. Transparency is framed as coherence made visible. It allows the system to self-correct.
So the whole point of implementing this, what they call Phi-IO Shane,
is to design systems, from cities to AI, that actively reduce entropy, that enhance coherence, while still allowing for diversity and freedom. To Phi is to build things that naturally spiral upward, that learn and adapt sustainably.
Okay, let's try to synthesize this massive theory. The core idea is unifying physics, ethics, consciousness.
Right. By showing that empathy isn't just a feeling, it's a structural property of coherent systems. They define coherence as the capacity of distinct entities to remain in relational balance. And in this view, empathy, energy, and information aren't separate things. They're like co-equal, conserved quantities that flow within this balance.
And they map out a growth path, the ladder of O.
Yeah, 7-rung spiral. Starts with basic matter on rung 1, goes up through life, consciously around rung 6, and culminates in ode integration at rung 7, which is like full alignment with the seam.
And the key insight from that ladder
is that you don't leave the lower rungs behind. Each higher level includes and integrates the ones below. So true growth, or ascent, isn't about escaping the physical. It's about, as they put it, learning to matter differently, engaging with the physical world, with energy, with information, in a more coherent, resonant way.
It really brings it back to the individual, to you, the listener.
It suggests you're participating in this universal pattern constantly. Every breath, every thought, every interaction is part of this dynamic. Living coherently isn't some mystical practice. It's just applied physics, practicing empathy as physics.
So the universe isn't asking for belief.
No, it's asking us to remember, to recognize the pattern we already are, and to consciously choose to align our structures, internal and external, with it.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on, based on the sources. If the coherence crisis stems from extraction, from systems running at RIPE one another.
Yeah, consider this. How would you redesign the simplest system you interact with regularly? Maybe a team meeting, maybe your family dinner routine, maybe a simple software tool you use. How would you restructure it to guarantee it generates more PL1 reciprocity? What would that actually look like in practice? What would a truly regenerative structure feel like?